Okie dokie. Hey guys, it's Neyyah here from Defy Reality Entertainment, and today I am going to be working on getting some of the fully rendered animations into the Visionaire build. The actual animations I'm going to be putting in follow up, I think, one of the videos I did beforehand where you're actually climbing up the ladder to get to a particular portal, but that actual animation is still in open GL format at the moment, you know, untextured. It's just the quick slides, basically, just to show. Oh, alarm going off. It's my afternoon walk alarm, so I'll probably be going for that later on. So yeah, what I'm going to be putting in are slightly different animations that happen after you've climbed up that ladder, or up and down. That climb up ladder animation is actually going to be rendered fairly soon, I believe, on this computer. And I need to double check actually what's happening on this computer quickly. Again, it's wearing multiple different hats, especially now with more engine work happening for Neyyah. It's not just modelling, it's getting everything into the engine at the same time. I'm actually prioritising modelling at the moment for a particular scene, because once this particular scene is finished, it's a big milestone in the development of the actual Neyyah world for me. So really excited about that. I just want to get that finished. So I've kind of been putting the engine stuff to the back burner a bit for now. But I thought I'd show you. I need to do these animations and get them in, so I thought I'd just do a devlog today on me putting them into the engine. So yeah, at the moment that's pretty cool, and we'll be working on, as well as the other animations I'm doing at the moment for in the same area that I'm going to be putting into the build today. I need to get that animation of climbing up the ladder fully rendered out, but that'll be done over the next week. So yeah, we'll get into the build. I do need to find, should be able to put it in here. Sometimes it can play up sometimes, so let's see. Here we go. Heater servers. Okay. So it's basically, at the moment you can see here they're all just set to the open GL frames themselves. So actually I can show you an example of what happens at the moment. Brilliant. So I haven't got journey mode set on at the moment, so I'll do that. Climb up the ladder. Press this button and this activates cool animation. That's just before the portal activates, and then there will be like this really cool effect that will fill up here, and you can go in and enter another area. It actually stays like that. The funny thing about doing something like this is, because this is down, the actual renders are a bit off at the moment on the sides here, because it's showing this to be fairly close when actually it's quite far away there. So they'll probably have to just be re-rendered, these side views. But also, because it's down, this would be filled up as well. So different versions of this view of the portal being up or down has to be altered as well. So different states. Also, I can't look up at the moment, but when this is up, I can look up and see the portal there ready to go, come down. So I need to do another view of actually looking up, and the portal's already down. So if I go down this ladder, oh yeah, so because it's on journey mode, the sound doesn't actually play. But when it's there's no journey mode, I can just skip that. What usually happens, as you can see here, it's automatically gone up, and so when you do climb down and the portal's down, it just automatically goes back up. So we'll just do that again quickly. Should be able to skip, yep. And then if I press this, it's going really slow for some reason, and then it will just go back up. So we're going to be incorporating these animations fully rendered. That's what we're going to be doing today. So doing it like this renders really quick because it's not rendering shadows, it's just rendering literally the viewport of Blender. I can then get these animations quickly into Visionaire, see how they run, and see if I need to make any improvements before finally rendering them out with shadows and textures and stuff. So it's cool. Also, I've changed this as well recently, just to kind of be more fitting with the new kind of stylistic kind of clean, I guess, looking UI. I just love the transparency idea. It kind of I built upon it from building the inventory and all the other things that are going on in the game, just so there's like a nice transparency. So basically you can still play the game, you can look in your inventory and you see your items here, and you don't have to, you know, feel like you're being disconnected from the actual game. It's quite nice. It just feels like you're not being distracted from your game that you're playing. So yeah, we're gonna put those animations in. Now they're rendered. Now I just need to I need to import them into here, and I need to convert them to WebP files. So we need to find those animations. I have a few, I think I have about 4 different animations to include, so we'll see how we go. Okay. Drop down, lift up. We'll start with the lift up. Here we go. So this is. Oh wait. Yeah, we'll just start with lift up. We'll just go in the order that they're in for now. As long as they put them in the right section, we should be fine. Output. Animations. We've got. Lift up. You can see there all the frames at the moment in the Visionaire folder. You can see this is my build folder. So everything goes into here. My OpenGL files are in there, but now I've got now it's going to call them rendered, and now we will add our new rendered. I'm just going to make sure that's set to about 90. Should be fine. Bit by P, perfect, and we'll just let that run. This particular animation here doesn't need to be cropped, but a couple of them I had to crop. An example was the buttons. So these buttons here, you can see that only the buttons been cropped. I am in talks with a programmer at the moment who he's reached out and has, I think it's like some kind of program that is able to kind of fast track this procedure of getting cropped animations into the engine. So you have to kind of fit them into the image and make sure they actually fit on top of the image in the right way, otherwise they'll just play randomly, and I'll show you an example of that probably in a minute. So yeah, I'm in talks with a programmer who's going to sort of assist with that, which is really cool. And it'll be interesting to see how I can hopefully maybe incorporate that program into my workflow. So yeah, that's really awesome. Has that finished? Nearly. Bing. There you go. Okay, so now, this can be a bit tricky because it's making sure that I'm actually adding the right animation to the right area. So we need to go to portal lift up animation. Okay. It was actually really tricky getting these animations to flow correctly, because when you climb up the ladder and then you're set to a certain viewport and you click the button, and then the animation of the camera looking up and then the portal coming down, the start and the end frame have to match up with the start of the next animation that happens in that set camera angle. Otherwise you have this, even if the camera's just moved slightly, like I had to literally I'll quickly go into my current Blender scene I'm working on. For example, this rope asset here, it has a set of locations, rotation and scale set to different settings, and I was setting them correctly, like 334.9, and I was like, but then I was looking back on the OpenGL renderings and they weren't matching. And literally, if you click on it, you've got these extra digits of like 01. I think it was set to 02 instead, for example. And it's just that smallest little detail was just making a shift in the camera that wasn't matching up with the rest of the animations. So it's a very kind of precise thing when you're rendering, like this rope, for example. If it was going like this, and then you stopped it there, then it, in another animation plays of it going up. Well, that beginning has to be exactly where the rope was up before it moved to that position. So, yeah, it's just a bit of a kind of a hurdle in some way of trying to get, those exact digits and trying to fine tune what's going on. So it's not always the engine that kind of can be a bit of a pain. It's actually sometimes the Blender work that could be a bit of a pain as well. To be honest, for me, the smoothest work, the easiest work in some way, the work where I can just feel like I'm really relaxed and really getting in the zone. Pardon me. I just had fish and chips with my nan. That's very nice. Is when I'm modeling, when I'm just designing the worlds. I mean, it's just so nice. I can have anything on the iPad playing in the background, but when I'm doing engine work, I usually have to just turn everything off, and it's a very different kind of focus. And I'm not a programmer. I mean, I don't program. That's the great thing about Visionaire. You don't really have to program to use it. You just have to know certain ways of doing things to be able to get what you need out of the engine. And the great thing about this kind of game, like a Myst style game, when you're doing point and click, especially the old, hypercard original version of Myst, it's just a series of basically like conditions and things like that are just stacked up upon one another, and certain states within the game that you're changing. So it's quite simple. The complex part is how big you make the world. You have to remember exactly where everything is, and that's the complex part, especially for Neyyah, because it's a very big world. There's a lot of places to go and a lot of things that are happening and all sorts of things to kind of keep in your mind, and it's very important to have documentation for that. And I have all different Word documents. I'd love to go into them one day, of all sorts of things that I've got for each island of the game, inventory items that I found, the places. Almost I write it like you're exploring the world. So yeah, they're quite complex, but it's good to have. So now we're going to change this animation here. Just making sure it's set to the right one. There you go. Pull lift up animation. We can delete this now. Oop. Looks like it's frozen, but it's not. So I can delete this one here. Pull tool, lift up anim, and we're going to bring in our frames. Solutions. Rendered. Here we go. Let's add them in. It might be there'll be certain like optimization things that will probably happen later on down the track for these animations. Depending how long they are, they might be turned into movie files. At the moment, most of these are just sequences of animation that just play. It might be that I can just crop them down, or maybe resize them, or possibly just compress them a bit more. But it's just trying to keep them as good a quality as possible. So I can actually test out this animation quickly here. We can see it kind of play. It's a bit kind of wonky at the moment. I wonder if I can bring that over. Over there. Okay, I think that's all we kind of need to see for this. We'll just play it and see what happens. Nice. See you later. That's just my dad going off to see my nan. She's getting a lot of visitors today. Bless her. Yeah, she's 101. My nan. She'll be 102 in December this year. So yeah, it's a good speed as well. You can change the pauses per second in here as well. So almost like you can render something to a particular frame rate, but you can then also adjust that within Visionaire as well, which is quite nice. You can play it backwards, you can loop it. So Ocean, actually I'll quickly show you an example of some, I'll do that in a minute, I might show you. For example, ocean animations, water animations, they're usually looped infinitely, so you can just set that up here. Okay, so now I need to actually add the first frame of the animation to this scene, because as you can see here I've got a starting frame. It's going to look weird now if it goes from there to the actual animation that's rendered now. So if I go into here, I should be able to go into here. Oh, wait a minute, portal drop down. What's going on here? I've got the wrong picture. Let's see. Lift up. Rendered. We should have that one. Portal drop down would be that one. Okie dokie, I think we're all good. I'm just going to see how that runs actually within the game. Nothing at the moment. Let's see what's happening there. Oh yeah, because it's not actually... Because I took out the animation, it's saying empty, so I need to add that new animation in. And hopefully it should work now. It's going to be so nice with some sound effects. Scraping metal, gears going off. And we go to the currently, this needs to change to 3A needs to go to here. I need to double check this. I think we're on the right track. I just need to go to... Oh yeah, first of all we need to go into here, here. Keeping everything in your head can be kind of difficult. Especially if you're not in the zone already. I mean, I've literally seen my nana jump straight into doing this devlog, so you kind of sometimes you just have to adjust a bit. And when I'm modeling, I usually, maybe sometimes, not all the time, but I play some Riven before I actually start modeling, just to get me in the zone. And Riven's a big inspiration for Neyyah, so it just sort of gets me in that kind of that zone, you know, like I'm there, you know. Okay, so drop down, lift up. The last frame of this animation. So this is the matching thing. Okay, so now if we go back into lift up, it should now just go straight to 13A, which has now changed. Fantastic. 10, we're back. We don't have an open GL picture anymore. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is add the drop down animation. Go into our drop down. That first frame there of 0185 is the same image that's on 13A here. Presumably, like, you know, sometimes I think to myself when I'm multitasking and I'm wearing all these different hats, when I'm creating animations in the background, I've got to be careful I don't like accidentally save over, like that animation of the portal going up might have the animation of the button being pressed in the same file. So on the same timeline, the animation timeline. and if I've saved it as button being pressed, activate, and activate portal button being pressed or whatever, but then because I've added the portal being risen, I might accidentally go over that or save it in a different file, and it just becomes, it can be a bit kind of complicated, and I have gone over animations accidentally in the past just because of that, so I have to be very visual, very careful with that. That's all good. Drop down, portal, drop down, lift up. Okay, here we go. We put it into renders. Ah! Oh, there you go. So things are running fairly smoothly at the moment, which is fantastic. I'm hoping they do. I'm a bit concerned about the buttons being pressed. Because I think there might be a bit of a mix-up. I noticed earlier when I was doing the crop here in Photoshop, where I've got I use this for batch rendering within, batch processing. I basically get all my button renders. It's usually just a big, like, full screen like you just seen, but then you've got the little button being pressed. So I just crop that out, everything out, and then just crop the button being pressed like you can see here, and it's the under here on the crop, and that just runs over all, say, how many frames there are of that button being pressed. It just runs over each one, and then you're left with that on each frame, so that just gets brought in. But I noticed earlier I had to change it because I've got two here of portal down button crop and portal button crop. So there's two different ones. There's slightly different positions of when the portal's down and when the portal's up. The camera's tilted in slightly different ways, and so it's making sure the button being pressed down on those individual scenes, they need to match those renders. It's a bit complicated, but I don't think I'm explaining it too well. But you'll get the gist, especially when you see it in person. Okay, that's nearly done. Okay, so that's good. That's all done. Lovely. Now I'm going to bring those frames into the drop down animation. Here we go. Portal drop down. Now again, we just need to delete this one. Wow, that was, yeah, such bad spelling. Look at that. Porter semicolon. Okay, so we just add our new portal drop down, and here we go. Keep that to 20. It's funny because the other one I set at 22. When I set it to about 30, it just runs a bit slow. That's cool. I think these animations are rendered to about, well, this one here, for example, what I'm doing here, is rendered to 24 frames per second. There have been a couple that I've done that have been about 30 frames per second. And it's not too bad. If you change a 24 frames per second animation to 30 frames here, sometimes it can make a weird juddery kind of look to things, but sometimes it doesn't. It just runs maybe a bit smoother. So it depends what the animation is. But this is cool. I think it'll be fine at 20. We'll bring in our frames. So yeah, in Visionaire you've got these two options. You can bring individual frames in. So maybe you might have a frame that you've edited, or maybe it's missing. You can just sort of bring it into the sequence there, or you can just add all the frames at once, and you literally just click on the first frame and it'll just automatically add all these different frames. Drop down, renders, here we go, bam. So it's good for when you're bringing in the ocean animations. It's just like, because it's a mask, it's got that transparency mask, it just brings everything over the top. Funny, with water you also have to have it set, I think so. I think my water animations are set to a certain Where you've got the actions here and the objects, it has to be set in a particular area of the queue for it to actually work. Particularly if you've got something that's animated over the top of the water, well, that layer has to be playing over the top of that water layer, so it has to be in a certain order on the side here. So that's kind of interesting. Okie dokie. One thing I do need to change though, like last time, is the animation name. We are going to bring in the first frame of this animation as well. For drop down, renders. Hopefully this will work. This now goes to frame animation open. This frame needs to be changed now as well, which is basically the last frame of the portal drop down, which is this one. What a change though, hey, from OpenGL to fully rendered. Also note that these images have been processed within Photoshop as well. They've been touched up under a massive list of effects, and I go through this in one of my other devlogs. You can see here Philipsue Island exteriors, so all these different effects here are applied to the images. Interiors have their own set of different effects as well, depending on the location, so there's quite a few there. Okay, moment of truth, I guess. The only thing I haven't changed is the button being pressed, so I do need to bring them in as well. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to test it out first with these animations. The button won't appear very well, so it needs to be animated. That's cool. Fantastic. Just the button again. Good. Okay, back down. Press the button again. There's a bit of a judder there with the, but it's not too bad. It's looking really cool. Yeah, it's looking nice. The only judder I can see, I don't think it's the camera angle, but it's the position of these things. So when I press this button and move down quickly. But that's cool, that's cool. Sometimes it's nice working with mistakes. It could be that when the portal is activated like that, they come down. So that sound effect can be like choo, or like shoo, and then you have the camera moving up. So that can kind of work in my favour. That's some birds flying in the sky. I'll have to re-render the whole animation for that, so I'm not doing that. Not for this particular animation anyway, that's fine. Yeah, it's fine. That works really nicely. Now I just need to get the buttons in. Yeah, I'm happy with that. As long as the camera angle doesn't judder, that's the worst thing. But the camera angle stays nice and smooth between each transition of the portal being lifted and then being dropped down. And there's that sound I was talking about. See, I didn't have journey mode selected there. The reason why this is set like this is because this is the last frame of the journey mode version of coming down, which you saw before. So yeah, it's just the last frame of the animation. Okay, let's get those buttons in. It's looking very cool, I'm happy with that. Buttons down, button active. Now, I'm not too sure. Down, pull down. So the portal is already down, and we activate it. This is what it means basically. So the portal has been activated. This button deactivates it basically. I just got a very interesting way of wording things. Story of my life. We'll go into here. Portal down. Hole button activated. These are full of OpenGL, so even though you can't see them, I know that the OpenGL files are in there. So we're just going to class this in render. And the another thing is that I need to now delete all those OpenGL files. It's really important that I keep on top of the things that I'm deleting within the engine, files that I don't need, because they can get lost within the old traffic of the game, and then you bounce the game down, and as it's built, and then you've got all those files that just aren't being used, just taking up space. So I'm a bit lazy when it comes to those kind of things, I must admit. I think I had to spend like a good session, I think it was on a Sunday, just getting rid of certain scenes that weren't being used within the build, because I knew it had to be done, but it's kind of like just leaving it hanging for ages. So that's all good. Renders, look at that, it's so quick because they're so small, and there's not so many frames. So okay, we'll bring that in. Now I just need to find the right one. So I'm thinking that's the portal down. This would be the image that needs to be replaced, I'm assuming. Button press anim. Here we go. And now we delete that. And I'm hoping that this will work. I'm assuming this will work. This is an example of an animation you can see here. The animation automatically just appears in the corner there, and we need to now apply this to the correct area. Usually get to about 400% on this, just to get a nice zoom in, and so make sure that it's nice, it fits nicely within the scene. So yeah, with this this programmer dude, he has an idea of being able to fast track this. And I think it's going to work within. Oh, look at that! It must be the correct one. I think it's going to work nicely within Visionaire, but we'll see. I'm a bit skeptical at this point because it's not like using Unity or anything like that. It's a very different engine. There you go. So I can just tell if it's set. I can just change the visibility of the object there from 0 to 50. I know I've already shown it, but that's 50 there. I go back to 0. I can see that it needs to move across a bit more, so I'll move it across so we have a nice fit. About 400, zooming in at 400 just really helps. Ugh, lost it now. Let's see what we've got. I had it so quickly the other time. There you go. Yeah, zooming in just makes it a lot quicker. Okay, so that's in. So I think that will work. It looks like it's fitting anyway. So the next one will be the normal activation. My bad. Got thing in all the files. Output into button activated, and here we actually have an OpenGL folder. I'm fairly organized, especially for creating a game like this. I definitely would say I'm organized, but when it comes to certain things, I can be a bit I'm quick to kind of throw it in there. Don't really care too much about what names I'm giving things, as long as it is related to what's being done. I'm not too pedantic about capital letters and stuff like that, or underscores being included. Okay. Just need to make sure that I'm in the right one. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so moment of truth. Now I need to be on this button. This is the one without the portal having been activated. It's now open, ready to be activated. So this button activates the portal. I need to go into here, and I'll delete those frames. Again, we need to just do the quick zoom in. Now this is the moment of truth, because I don't know if this is going to work. We'll see. We'll see. If not, then it just means that it's not the animation, it's the cropping batch within Photoshop that needs to be redone. Let's see here. So far so good, I think. So far so good. I think we have it. I think it's all good. Oh my god, I think we're okay. Oh. For some reason the button's in a different position though, so I'm a bit skeptical about that. 0. Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. That's a bit odd. The button's in a different position. So we might have to look at this one again, but we'll see. We'll see. Is everything else alright? Yeah, the cables are fine. The button's just in a very different position between animations for some reason. I'm not too sure why that is. That's cool. That's cool. It might not show too much within the button press anyway, but we'll see. I'm wondering why that is. Oh, is that why? Because we're set to put that one accidentally, maybe? Oh well, we'll see. Let's give it a go. No, it's not even playing. Huh, because the buttons haven't been. Yeah, the button activation is not picking up on the actual animation. See. Why is there two? Oh, because okay, this is interesting. So I think you go to button press. Now this one plays in reverse order. So the button goes down, then comes back up. And instead of rendering it going up, down, then up to save time, it's like a lever being pulled, and then going back up. You just render it going back, and then Visionaire just reverse that animation. So I do it there, look, I just reverse it. I get the same animation, and it just reverses. I'm wondering about the speed though. What's the position? So I think of the sounds in my head as I do them. And we need to do this one as well, so pull them down. Button press animation. Brilliant and brilliant. That should work. Button's a bit slow, so we're going to speed that up. Yeah, for some reason the frames there are a bit odd with the button being pressed there. Possibly might need to redo it. But that's fine, it just needs to be sped up. It's way too slow, so we'll go back into that frame here with the animation. We'll set this to something like 5 even. That should speed up quite dramatically, maybe too much. That's cool. Try that again. Cool. Alrighty. Just want to try that again. Just want to look at the nice. Yeah, it's cool. So I do need to look at that button frame and find out why it's not so risen. But yeah, those animations are now in place, which is wonderful. Oh, I want to go through here. Let's see what happens. Press the button. Probably a bit too slow. Needs to be a bit quicker. And you can skip these animations as well and go straight to the scene and then go through. So you can just skip animations by clicking on the screen, anywhere on the screen. And that's set up within Visionaire as well, as you can see here with a where is it? On the actual animations. You've got the actions of the animation being triggered anywhere within the hotspot here, within the box. The cursor enters anywhere within this box, triggers the animation, but the left click also skips it. So you can just sort of skip the animation depending on what transition speed you're at as well. You just go straight to the scene that the animation leads to. So that's kind of a cool little option within the game. If you want to skip animations, you can just click anywhere on the screen. So yeah, I just need to change that button. I need to find out what's happening with that button there, with the starting point is a bit off, and probably just slow it down a bit, maybe slow the other one down a bit more as well. But yeah, apart from that, it's looking really cool. So yeah, I'm going to spend a bit of time just maybe setting up that animation again for the button, and I'm going to continue modeling for the rest of the day, and trying to get this scene really going and finishing it by at least, I'd say definitely by the end of this week. So yeah, a lot of work still to do for this scene, but it's going to be a cool milestone for the game. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been really cool. Kind of shows you a bit of what I'm doing at the moment, rather than I'm focusing on any specific topic of game development for Neyyah. And yeah, like, subscribe to stay posted for more devlog videos that I've got coming up along the way as Neyyah progresses. And wishlist Neyyah on Steam as well. I really look forward to being able to share the whole world of Neyyah with you. It's going to be an exciting journey, I'm sure, as it is exciting and challenging for me as well. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now. Bye.